Hey guys, welcome to another day, another project. I'm Christina, I'm in Kansas, Zone 7A, and I have more seeds to start. Today I'm starting more cut flowers, and the cut flower varieties that I'm starting were inspired by something I saw on the Johnny's Selected Seeds website. So earlier this year, I had seen, as actually late last year, I saw on the Johnny's Selected Seeds website a cut flower garden planner. And I thought it was really neat because it tells you everything you need to know to get started with an easy cut flower garden. And they chose 11 easy to grow annual varieties for the home cutting garden. In the PDF, it actually talks about, your focal flowers, your smaller accents, your spikes, and your fillers. And it talks about each of the different varieties of cut flower. And then it also has some really nice pictures for everything. And then at the very end, not only does it give you sowing and growing information and harvesting, of course, but then at the end, it actually shows you how to build a bouquet with these specific flowers. And they have 3 different bouquet ideas, which I thought was really neat. And so I was thinking I would print these as a good resource for people and have them available. And I might make a cut flower kit with these flowers. Now I don't have everything in here, but I have most of it. So let me look through it real quick. So today I'm starting the red spike amaranthus, and I do have the strawberry blonde sunflower. I don't know if I'll just supply the seeds for the sunflower or if I will supply plant starts, because those are an easy direct seed thing. I'm not exactly sure. But I do have a lot of different colors of the Benary's Giant Mix zinnias. The Dara I started yesterday, and I actually did record that. I don't know, I need to review it because I was really distracted. I had some things going on in the greenhouse, and so I'll see how that video is. But I may include that here, but I may not. The Double Click Mix Cosmos I have. The Sahara Rudbeckia I don't have. I tried starting those from seed, and I'll be honest, I did not have good luck with them. I didn't have very many. I sowed them in the 288 trays, which are the really small cell trays inside, and I was doing really well. And then when I moved everything to the greenhouse, I lost a lot of them because I let the tray dry out. The Queenie Red Lime Zinnias I don't have. I figured I'm good with just the Benary's Giant Mix. I have a lot of different colors. The Bouquet Dill, I'll be starting that today. And let's see, the pincushion formula mix Scabiosa, I do have those, and that'll be the 3rd variety I'll be starting today. Flashbacks mix calendula. The calendula I did start yesterday. I did record that, but again, I'll see how that video turned out. And then the last one is the timeless mix Adratum, which I know I have an Adratum already started, and I don't remember if that's exact same variety or not. It has a lot of blues. I remember that much. So no matter what Adratum I did start, I think it'll be fine for the purposes of this guide. So I'd like to offer all the cut flowers, at least these cut flowers, in a sort of kit, especially for Mother's Day. I think they'd be a great Mother's Day gift, or any early spring gift for your own self if someone wanted to do a cut flower garden. And so I wanted to offer the kit. I'll have either a PDF link or something, I think, to go with it. And then I'll probably just put all of the plants in a 1020 daisy tray. But for Mother's Day, I think it'd be really nice to come up with like some sort of, I don't know, bow or ribbon, or just something that would sort of, I don't know, something cute to dress it up a bit. All right, so let's talk more specifically about the varieties we'll be starting today. For the Amaranth, this specific variety is red spike. And according to the description, it says the ideal color and form for late summer and fall arrangements. It has feathery, velvety blooms of a vibrant, unfading, deep maroon color. It does look really pretty. I've never grown amaranth before, but that would be a spike element in your floral arrangement. And then Scabiosa, a smaller accent flower. This Scabiosa is the pincushion formula mix. It is a mix of different black, blue, creamy yellow, pink, bright red, deep blue, salmon, rose, and pure white button-like flowers, and it adds a whimsy to arrangements. That's what Johnny says, which I think it's really pretty. And then the last one that we'll be starting today is the dill. The dill is a bouquet dill. It's a variety meant for cut flowers. It does get over 3 feet tall. It has airy chartreuse flowers, appears as highlights, and combine well with almost any color arrangement. Last year, the main filler I grew for myself was basils. I love the citrus basil, or it's the lemon basil. Mrs. Burns lemon basil, and then the cinnamon basil were the two main fillers. And I really enjoyed those, and they're so easy, low maintenance. So I definitely plan on doing those as well, but I wanted to stick with the same fillers that the guide had because like I said, I want to sell this as a kit. Okay, so for those of you who missed my last video, I explained that when I take all my plant starts to market, I don't even know that I'll have room to take all of my cut flower starts and all my veggies at the same time. I might do different weekends and just sell veggie starts one weekend and just sell cut flower starts another weekend. But regardless, all of my tomatoes, onions, and veggies, herbs are all going to be started in these 1801s, which these are 18 singles. That's why it's called 1801 in a standard 1020 tray. And these are just perforated. So they're kind of held together somewhat right now, but you can just snap them apart and then you can sell them individually. And so I'm going to sell all my veggie starts and my herbs as singles and then do a bulk discount, like a fill a flat type of discount. Because dill is an herb, I want to still sell those in an 1801. So I'm going to have my dill in these 1801s. And then for the amaranth, or for the Scabiosa and the Amaranth both, I had planned on selling them in the smaller 6-packs. The smaller 6-packs, these are 12 6-packs per 1020 tray, so it ends up being 72 cells a tray. And then you have the bigger 6-packs, which would be 606s, those are 36 cells per tray. All right, so for the Scabiosa and the Amaranth, I'll be selling these in the 1206. So let me get started filling up my trays. Get my gloves on. So I have a germination mix. It's just a Lambert germination mix. I get all of my bulk soil. It's not bulk. It's not the bulk bags. It's just I get them almost by the pallet, and this is the germination mix that I use. And I was seed starting yesterday, and I think I still have a little bit of moisture in here, and it still kind of holds its shape. It could use a little bit more. You do not want too much moisture in your germination mix because it can leave air pockets. It holds its shape. So, all right. Fill up the trays. Okay, so whenever you're working with these types of trays, you want to make sure you have some sort of support. So in this case, I'm just using these daisy trays. You can use, they have those solid trays that are a solid bottom. Those would be good for if you bottom water. But then there's also the solid trays that have holes in the bottom. So you can still water from the top, but everything will drain. But all right, for the dill, according to the back of the Johnny seed packet, you want to sow them 3 to 5 seeds per cell and 1/8 to 1/4 inch deep. Since 1/8 is not very much, so what I'll do is I will put I'm going to put 5 seeds per cell since these are pretty wide cells. So also 5 seeds on the surface, and then we'll cover with vermiculite. I could also cover with a light layer of our germination mix. But I like vermiculite because it has antifungal properties and it helps retain moisture. But here's the vermiculite that I use. And as many seeds as I start, I really haven't used a lot of it. But the germination temperature is 65 to 70 degrees. I have my heat mat set to 70. It gets and then it gets about 65 in there. The ambient temperature at night is about 65. That's when the heater kicks on about 62 and raises it up to 70 something probably. So anyway, I am not going to use a heat mat for this because I know my temperature in my grow room. will be in that 65 to 70 range without a heat mat. So. Okay, so now that I have that done, let me cover with vermiculite. I'm only starting one tray today, but I'm gonna think about it. I might start at least one more tray, particularly because this is going to be part of my cut flower kit and I wanna make sure I have enough. I don't know if I'll put 1 or 2 of these or 3 of these in the cut flower kits. I just haven't thought too much about it. I have a fairly thick layer of vermiculite because it did say these should be 1/8 to 1/4 inch, 1/8 to 1/4 inch deep, the seeds. So I have a thick layer of vermiculite. Let me just set this off to the side. All right, now we'll go ahead and get these 1206s for the Scabiosa and the Amaranth. The Amaranth, I have 100 seeds minimum, and there's 72 seeds per cell, so that would pretty well cover one tray. And then the Scabiosa, I have 500 seeds. Scabiosa is so pretty, and I don't know, I might do 2 trays of Scabiosa just because. I think I will do 2 trays of Scabiosa. I will need more germination mix. Let's get our trays filled up. I just realized I forgot to label my dill, and I ran out of the correct labels for my label maker, so I'm just going to use masking tape. Okay, good enough. So for the Amaranth, it says to barely cover the seed, bottom water or mist to avoid covering seeds. Harden off and transplant after last frost. Okay, germination, 7 to 10 days, 70 to 75 degrees. So I will use a heat mat for this, and I will just surface sow these seeds. And it does say to barely cover seed. I'll just do a very light layer of vermiculite. Ooh. These seeds are in the little package, which means they're tiny. I am just gonna sow 1 seed per cell. Yep, 1 seed per cell. Okay, so now for the Scabiosa. Get my trays over here. All right, looking at the back of the Johnny seed packet again. This one says that you want to barely cover as light aids in germination. So I'll just barely cover with vermiculite, just like I did last time. And for direct seed, it does say sow 1/4 inch deep after last frost date. So in this case, we'll sow 1/4 inch deep into our cell flats, and we'll barely cover. So let me go ahead and 1/4 inch deep. It's a lot easier to just take an empty tray and press it down. If I take this empty tray and I just press my potting media down. That creates a depression that we can have put our seeds in, and then we can cover with either germination mix or vermiculite. Let's see what these seeds look like. Whoa, Scabiosa seeds are neat. Scabiosa seeds are different. Okay, so I'll seed 1 seed per cell, and then we'll cover with either vermiculite or another light layer of germination mix, and then we'll get everything watered in and throw it in the grow room. Every once in a while, I'll sow 2 seeds per cell, just because the germination is only 70-something%. And then hopefully, if I give them a little bit of room, I can separate those seedlings, those doubles out, and use them elsewhere if I need to. Whoops. It does say to barely, it's when you're direct sowing, it does say 1/4 inch deep, but it says if you're transplanting, barely cover. So I'm not sure, but I think this will work how it's done here. Let me get all of my seedling trays watered in. All right, the dill doesn't need a heat mat, so I will move my anise hyssop and stick it right in here. So these last two, here, let me shut the fan off. There we go. Whew. All right, these last 2 trays don't have a heat mat, so that's where my dill will go. And for now, let me just stick this here. All right, my amaranth wants a heat mat, so all right, now the Scabiosa. The Scabiosa doesn't need a heat mat, so set that there for a second. I'll stick these guys in the back. Oh, it's a pain to get back there. I'm gonna take the humidity dome off the Dara also. Okay, so let me go get the plastic wrap. There's that. Okay, that's it for today. I meant to fill you guys in on all the things that have been happening during the week. One of the most exciting things is starting seeds. Like that's like the first step, is the first germination. That's like the most exciting to me. And then the next step is, it seems like when your seedling finally germinates, you have those 2 little leaves, and it just takes forever while it's building its root system to see any progress until you start seeing true leaves. And like that's the next step that's like kind of fun and exciting. But then what's really nice to finally realize the fruits of your labor, and all these seedlings are now ready to transplant up. One of the big things, I've had a lot of my petunias. The petunias are ready to start potting up. And so that's been really exciting. I've been busy doing that, but have a lot of petunias and it's taking up a lot of space. So anyway, that's my big thing this week, is trying to get my petunias potted up. I have a Jolly Farmer order coming on Wednesday, And so I'll do an unboxing video for that. So I have a lot of plugs and liners from that coming that I need to start potting up here soon. So my next week's video might be a potting up video, it might be more seed starting because I do have a lot of still seed starting to do. I feel like I'm having less and less time as the season rolls on, but that's okay. I love it. Anyway, that's it for today, and I hope to see you next week. Thanks.